This show is a part of Pop Americana. For more great shows like this one, please check the link in the episode description. Cartoons, the animated frontier. These are the voyages of the Cellcast podcast. Its continuing mission to explore strange new cartoons, to seek out new animation styles and new creative storytelling methods, to boldly go where so few ever go again.
Am I wrong? Okay. This progress is a part of Christian Geek Central Network. Wrong.
Hey, Scoop, what are you doing, man?
I don't know. I'm supposed to be reading an ad.
All right, hold on. Give me it.
Okay.
All right, this podcast is part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast,
The animated series.
Joining me today is a man who just can't quite reach that one little thing that's just right out of his reach that's going to save the day. Jacob.
Brr. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. I'd like to introduce our co-host, a man who just wants to make his papa proud. Welcome, Drew.
How are you doing, Jacob?
Oh, I'm great.
Alrighty. So we are still in the middle of Tangled The Series. We are on Season 1, Episode 17, Queen for a Day, Part 2, which first aired the same day as Part 1 on November 19th, 2017. These originally aired as a 1-hour special. It was directed by Joe O again and written by Jace Rickey. Summary is as follows. Her heart torn, Rapunzel reluctantly declines going to Varian's aid, causing him to return home, only to find his father completely encased within the mystical rock spikes. Saddened, Varian furiously vows to find answers on how to bring his father back, no matter what it takes or whomever stands in his way. Meanwhile, the blizzard is getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
Eugene and the gang at the Snuggly Duckling set out to find the king and queen. Rapunzel learns of a similar storm from legend and of a machine made by a sorcerer named Lord Demantius that has the power to blow the storm away. They find this machine, and with the help of Xavier, and end up saving the kingdom. Meanwhile, Eugene and the gang end up finding and saving both the king and queen.
Totally, it's the Manicus.
Demantius.
No, it's the Manicus.
I got this off here, and that's what the subtitle said. It was Demantius. Do we need to go to the tape?
Sure, we can go to the tape.
Let's go to the tape. Disney Plus. We're keeping this in, by the way. You better keep this in.
Princess, I never said the Demonitus device was real for sure.
I know, Xavier, but every legend is born of truth, right? What if
As I said, Demantius.
Okay. I've heard it in my defense, later on this series, they call him Lord Demanticus.
We shall see.
Yeah.
I'm going with Demantius.
Okay, go
At the very least, for now.
Okay, for the moment.
All right. So, once again, this is the second half of the second special since Before Ever After. That was originally going to be titled Queen Rapunzel. In this episode, Varian sings for the first time.
Yeah.
This one, again, has the same ending song from Part 1, which is different from the original. And this is technically the first episode featuring a character to be revealed at a later date.
Oh, yes. It does.
And I didn't search any farther than that.
Good.
I just saw the trivia and thought, that needs to be brought up. And I did not include the name, even though I think they've said the name in this episode.
I think so.
But I'm not going there.
No.
Anyway, I did not expect them to have to find a way to turn Varian against Rapunzel.
Oh, yeah. And it was good.
It was
so good.
She didn't have a choice.
No, she didn't.
It was a Kobayashi Maru scenario.
Pretty much.
And for those of you who don't know, A Kobayashi Maru scenario is the no-win scenario. Name comes from Star Trek, from the beginning of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. If anyone's ever curious, go look at that. You'll understand.
Kirk cheated.
Also, I think it's in the beginning of Star Trek 2009, but
It is.
honestly, I don't like how they show Kirk doing it, but that's beside the point.
Either way.
Anyway, it has nothing to do with Tangled. It's a Kobayashi Maru scenario where she wants to help her friend, but she can't because her responsibilities are with the kingdom right
Greater.
now. Are greater. She has to worry about the kingdom. She can't worry about Varian right now. So, yeah, I feel for her.
Yeah.
But she has... And really, if Varian was less of a teenager, he'd understand the thought process. But he's
right.
Along with, wanting his way, because he wants his way.
Yeah.
He's also understandable because he's worried about his father.
Yeah.
And I grant that. But honestly, in my mind, it's like, maybe you should have hung around with your father so maybe he could tell you something instead of running off.
True.
Because, yeah, he was trapped, but he wasn't completely encased when you left town.
Yeah.
You could have stayed there.
Well, teenagers are kind of impulsive.
Yeah, I'll grant you that.
And
plus,
he's
the
one person he knows to get help.
He would already know what's on the note if he'd have just stayed there.
That is true. That'll come up. That'll come up later.
I know it will. Yeah, it almost has to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this whole story, the three main story beats with Varian trying to get help and having to be denied.
Mm-hmm.
Rapunzel coming to the realization that every legend is based on truth.
Yeah,
that there has to be at least something if they can go and find it.
Yeah,
and to go through that, and they find this Demantius device, which is part magic, part science.
Yeah,
boy, that sounds familiar. And they find and they're able to blow this storm out to sea. I assume, and then with Eugene and the people you would never expect to be heroes, the thieves and villains of the Snuggly Duckling, that we've all grown to love.
Yeah, kind of
between the movie and the show,
kind of pseudo villains.
They're not really villains; they're just people in an unfortunate state.
Yeah,
but they're still the least likely people you would expect.
Oh yeah,
to go out and save the king and queen. Who, at some point, has probably thrown them in jail.
Probably. Like they said before, they did.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just such a good episode. It ties up everything from the part one.
Yeah.
And it is foreshadowing.
Oh.
So stinking much. I don't even know what it's all foreshadowing, but you can tell they are setting up lots of different plot points that are probably going to take it through season 3.
I'm saying nothing at all.
Okay, then. But anyway, I enjoyed this episode, and I'm looking forward to what it leads to, especially where it leads in the next episode.
Yes, it does.
So, Jacob, your thoughts on this since I've talked a lot.
I love this episode. I enjoyed this episode tremendously. The fact that it's a two-parter, the fact that so much is revealed, we get this amazing heel turn of Varia becoming the bad guy or becoming a villain.
Admittedly, I don't know where it goes, but I don't know if villain is the right term here. Unless he really does end up becoming a bad guy in the show. At this point, I could just see him being a little angry.
Yeah.
But anyway.
There's so much I want to say, but I know I can't say it, so I'm not going to say it. Just to finish up with, this is an amazing episode. It's Rapunzel with her apprehension of what she has to do, all of her responsibilities, and the fake out sacrifice of the frog.
How have you forgotten Pascal's name?
Yeah, I know. I'm drawing a blank.
How dare you?
It's your favorite episode.
I know.
So far.
And just how the way they drew how it's all animated, like you felt it. You felt that back be like,
yeah.
He fell into those gears. And I was like, okay, I know he's not dead. I've watched most of the other season. So it was like,
I did not know this. And I'm sitting there going, you just killed Pascal? A, why? B, no. C, huh? D, he's alive somewhere. I just know it. He's just gonna show up at the last second minute.
Yeah, and one, you can't keep a chameleon down too long.
I mean, he fought a snake.
Yeah, he did fight a snake.
You really
Twice.
You really think he fall from the height of the tower? Essentially, it's
pretty
really
much.
going to take him out.
Well, technically, it was 70. It was 70 plus feet. We don't know how far down it went further.
We don't know if he landed on like a cross piece or not. Something. Also.
Yeah, we don't know. But obviously he comes back up. He's bruised and all that, but he's still he's okay.
He got up there pretty fast.
He
too.
He did. But Rapunzel's reaction, because you go back to
Pascal's
story, and you get how she's almost terrified of losing him, and that same reaction. Be like, I've lost my best friend. I've lost the only comfort I ever had for 18 years as a kid and as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so moving. And when Pascal popped his little head up, and I was like, okay, we can all breathe a little bit.
Yes.
Knowing he was going to come back. Knew it.
Boy, do they know how to make you worry.
Oh, yeah, they definitely know how to make you worry. And this episode is a litter throughout that, and how they're building up to things to come later on in the season and seasons.
Yes.
But this was such a good episode. Oh, my word, it's so good.
Oh, yes, it was very good. But that, I think, brings us to the end of the discussion on this episode. So join us next time for Painter's Block. You know something about this, don't you?
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right. So join us then. Come, Jacob. We must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast.
Oh, boy.
So where can they find you, Jacob?
You can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron, also on Facebook at Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where I try to draw each and every day. I don't get to it as often as I like, but join me there. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, on Twitter at Jacob Heron, and Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. So where can they find you, Drew?
You can also follow me on Letterboxd at ggeorge759, Facebook as Drew Dodgen, my Facebook page where you can see pictures I've taken at Drew's Photo Bin. You can also follow me on Twitter at ggeorge759.
You can email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter at cast_cell.
You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/thecellcastgaming.
You can also follow us on YouTube at Cellcast,
Listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts,
Google Play Podcasts,
Stitcher,
Spotify,
and your favorite podcast directory.
You can also listen to us on the Movie of the Week podcast with Jim Heron, where we talk about live action movies. And remember, Cell is a single L.